Okay, so I'm back down at this lawnmower today. This is a free lawnmower. Somebody gave it to me, and I've determined it needs a ton of work. Everything's bad on the tires, starting solenoid. The seat switch is probably bad. It needs a battery. It just needs a ton of things. So recently I just sold another lawnmower that somebody gave to me, which was a bigger lawnmower. It was a V-twin Craftsman. This is a Craftsman. I only got $250 out of it, and it ran really well. So I don't think I can flip this one and make any money off of it. So I've decided that I'm going to part it out. Whatever's good on it, I'm going to take off and try to sell. Or use, let's say somebody blew an engine, for example. I can take this engine and put it on that lawnmower, or a transmission. And that way, I don't have to buy all these components to get this lawnmower running. Another thing that may happen is another lawnmower someone gives to me with a blown engine. I can just take this engine off, put it on the other lawnmower, and voila, you got a running lawnmower. So I think the more beneficial thing to do to this one is fix the engine, see what's wrong with it, and see if it is fixable. I mean, there's some obvious problems with it. One, I got to get it to start. I just bought a starting solenoid. We're going to put that on. You know, that was like $12 or $15. I do believe the head gasket is blown out. So if that's the case, it's going to smoke. But again, that's like $12. That's easy to replace. The overhead valve gasket is missing, or broke, I should say. Now, I could use Permatex for that. I might buy a gasket. I don't know. We'll see. Probably just Permatex it. I don't see any point in really spending money where I don't have to. And then I'm sure the carburetor is going to need some work. Now, fortunately, I have another carburetor. If I can't get this one to work, I can rebuild that one or clean it up. I don't even think there's anything wrong with it. We'll see. But it's used. So I'll clean the carburetor and see what happens. But everything turned. The last time I tried it, the engine turned over. I just couldn't get any spark. So today I'm going to put a new solenoid on it. I'm going to bypass all the seat switches and everything to make sure none of that is interfering, simply by not plugging in the shutoff wire, which is right here, to the ignition coil. I just won't plug that in. We should get spark then. And then I'll jump it and see if it'll run. I've already done a valve adjustment and adjusted these valves, so that's out of the way. Now, it will leak oil terrible if I do get this thing started, because the overhead valve, this thing cover, is the gasket is completely missing on the bottom side of it, so we won't be able to run it for long. Ignition coil, you want to read. This one says cylinder side. This one says this side out. So you want to be sure that you put it on there correctly. Now, somebody mentioned that you're supposed to sand off or rub off the rust on this. You don't have to. That's a myth. You're at 10 thousandths. Rust is not going to stop that magnet from doing its job. Now we're going to gap it at 10 thousandths. So I have my feeler gauges here, and it's nice. They made the 10 thousandths a different color, so it was easy to identify, I guess. I don't use it near as much as I use the 4 and the 30. So that was simple. Now I'm going to change out the spark plug. Well, I didn't have it tight in there. The reason I took it out probably in the past, and I always put it back in so water doesn't get into the cylinder. Okay, so we'll gap this one at 30 thousandths. So 30 thousandths will need to go in, and then I'll take 35, and 35 should not go in. There's 35. And 30. So 35 should not go in. It does not. 30 should go in. It does not. So we'll take a pocket knife and we'll kind of stretch it out a little bit. I probably did it too much. 35 should not go in. It does not. That's good. 30 should go in. Huh. I thought I stretched it too much. There's 30. It went in. 35 did not. So that's perfect. Had to put an extension bar in there to make it easier to thread in. It wouldn't hurt to put a little bit of oil on those threads, I don't think. You know, it just occurred to me, I wanted to check for spark. Okay, so I got my lawnmower here and I'm going to jump it and we're going to see if it has any spark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch the cable to the starter right here. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's pretty bright outside. But I'll let you know if there's a spark, I'm sure. Spark. Fantastic. So now we'll put the spark plug back in its place and we'll try to start the engine. Okay, so I started it again with the carb cleaner with gas in it after it was off camera. My battery's about dead, so I shut it off and it started up, but it died. So that tells me the carburetor does need cleaned or fixed or replaced or something. So we are definitely at a good point with this. So I'll take that off on the next project and get it cleaned, put it back on, and see if we can get it to run. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you something I was working on. So I hope I can inspire you to keep at it so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.